Alright, hello everyone. I'm Lonnie with Untitled Nerd Network, and I want to talk about It Chapter 2. As you can see, scrolling along the top of the screen here, spoiler alert. Spoilers in the biggest way. If you do not want this movie spoiled, if you haven't had a chance to see it yet, and you plan on seeing it and don't want the movie completely 110% spoiled, turn back now. Because I am going to be talking about the movie and all of its spoiler glory. Hello, Jessica. Welcome to the stream tonight. Amber was going to be joining me, but she has to be up at like 5:30 in the morning, and she like the movie didn't get out till like 10 after 1. So you made a bad click. I don't I don't know. So anyway, let's talk about It Chapter 2. Obviously, just I want to kind of give a non spoiler review for the beginning. Obviously, this is the movie where the Losers Club, the group of 7 kids, they've grown up and they get called back to Derry, Maine because the It monster, the clown, the whatever you want to call it, has come back after 27 years. Uh, and that's pretty much the extent of it. There's a lot of stuff that holds true to the book. There's a lot of stuff, they take a lot of liberties and do things fairly different, from the book. I will say that Stephen King does make a quick cameo of about 15 to 30 seconds, something like that. He has a really quick part, but I'm not gonna like give anything away. Um, the movie basically it take the movie. There's like a whole other story besides the book. Like the movie is very different, but they take a lot of the scary parts from the book and put them into this movie. So they utilize a lot of the scares for kind of a different story. I was a little put off by how some of the stuff was done. I was not. Look, like the fight. There's the ritual of Chewed that was in the book that wasn't in the original TV miniseries that was in like this movie, but in my opinion wasn't done right. They did it better than the original miniseries, but they did not. They still did not do it right, and I don't know why it's so difficult to get some of the basic, most important parts of the book down. I don't know why. But here's the thing. Without spoiling anything, the movie, the franchise is done. Like, I'll go ahead and tell you, 20, 30 years from now, if they decide, hey, we're going to remake it again, I'm not excited about it anymore. This movie had a couple of entertaining parts, some good little jump scares, some maybe 3 different parts that kind of made me anxious. But overall, I honestly did not care much for this film. It was doable, it was watchable, but in hindsight, I would have been better off, you know, getting it at Redbox. This is not a movie that I'm going to buy when it comes out. I just really wasn't that excited about it. I mean, I was excited going in, but it's like I don't know. For some reason, it the franchise itself does so much better when it's the kids because they're kids, and the clown Pennywise, whatever you want to call him, he does so much better when preying upon children and when the children are at the mercy of the adults and things like that. And I mean, here's the thing: the movie was okay. like going ahead and giving my number rating on a scale of 1 to 10, the movie for me got about a 6. It's watchable, but like for me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are crap. 6 and 7 are good, but I would never buy the film. 8 is a good theater, release. And then 9 and 10 are classics that you ought to own in your library. This movie, it was okay, but it wasn't great. It was just okay. I don't plan on watching it again. I just don't. Um, the first one was so much better, and I would even go close to say, except for a couple of parts, that the original TV miniseries did it better with the part two than this one did. There was a scene. Now we're kind of getting into spoiler territory, but in the original miniseries, Henry Bowers played a hell of a lot bigger part in the both the book and the original miniseries part two. He was still in this one, but he might as well not even been there. I think they just threw him in just to make people happy. Yeah, it was watchable but not memorable. That's exactly. I'm having a hard time really scraping my mind for memorable parts of this film right now, just to be able to talk to them or talk about them. But couple of highlights. Um, the scene where Beverly goes into her old apartment and the old lady's there. They showed the best parts of that in the trailer, the last trailer that they put out. There was a scene in it where one of the kids was running from the Paul Bunyan statue in the town square. They put that into this film, and it was really good. Even though you knew, obviously, um, they like here's the thing: they showed a lot of parts in this movie from like the kids' point of view. Like they're adults in this movie, but they had a really bad habit of having the adults walk into a place, because the adults split up to go get like these tokens or memorable items from their childhood. They have to go back. It was like part of the ritual, but they had to split up and then go to memorable parts of their childhood and get these items. And one of the things, like a bad habit this movie had, is the adult would show up at this place as an adult, and suddenly it would flash back to them as a kid. And I was really having a hard time following that because I didn't know if either this was like a memory, like okay, adult shows up at the location, and then suddenly they're a kid, and I was having a hard time figuring out, okay, is this the adult remembering what happened when they were a kid, or is this the adult like being a kid again? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know if it was a flashback or if it was happening right in the moment, but they were just kids again in the moment. Like I didn't like it because they did that with pretty much every character. A big spoiler was for like the end. The very, very end. Everybody who has read the book, watched the original movie, whatever, knows that Stan committed suicide at like the end of the first movie in the original, and then he kills himself early on in this movie. And ah, at the end of this movie that I just finished watching, they basically make it to where like Stan sent everybody notes, like suicide notes, basically. But they go to great pains to say, hey, this was not a suicide note, and he basically tells them, hey, I was scared the whole time when we were kids. I've lived my entire life scared, and I knew the only way that this plan for everybody to get together to work is if everybody is strong, and I wouldn't be strong. So for this to succeed, I'm taking myself off of the board. And I thought that that was a cheap kind of cop out for the character, because part of the horror of the book and the original movie was the fact that Stan killed himself because he was just too scared to go back and face it. It wasn't some noble gesture. It wasn't some, you know, it wasn't some, I'm taking one for the team. I'm taking myself off the board so we can win. No, in the original, in the book, this guy was scared shitless and he killed himself to avoid having to go face Pennywise again. And I really think that cheapens his suicide as a plot device in this movie. The way they did that, I just was not a fan. And it was just a lot of the ways they cheapened. They just cheapened a lot of stuff. They they I don't know. It was just, I don't know. Like, they struggled to make me give a shit about the characters in this movie. I didn't care about the characters. You know, you had characters who came close to death. You had characters who got hurt gravely. Even the big climax at the very end, um, which, spoiler alert again, just like in the book, just like in the movie, the original movie, Eddie dies again, in the final battle. Um, that, and also, I mean, and in this movie, Richie took it really hard, but I know that was supposed to make us care, but I didn't care. I feel like the original movie did a lot better job with character development. Even though I didn't care much for the original part two anyway, it was still a better movie than this as far as caring about the characters, character development. Um, the pretty okay. We had a couple of good highlights in this movie. I'll cover those just to be fair. The Chinese food scene towards the beginning was really good. Um, it was as good as the original movie's Chinese food scene. Um, and I that the Paul Bunyan scene, the giant statue coming alive, was pretty sweet. And crap, that's pretty close to all I really. Okay, there was one more, and that was they actually made it a point to make the movie funny in places that I don't think it needed it. Like, I don't know. Like, there was a scene where the monster like did this long black puke at one of the characters, and like they had this like funny music playing, like something out of Deadpool. Matter of fact, I think it was Deadpool. Um, I can't remember the name of the song, but yeah, I mean they went out of their way to make this movie funny in parts, and this movie, despite the fact that you have a clown, was not supposed to be funny. Not at all. Like, I don't know, y'all. I could say I'm finding more to gripe about in this movie than I have to be excited about, and that's not what I was hoping for this movie. It really wasn't. Like, in a way, I wish Amber was here because she could. I don't know if she would tell me that I'm full of crap, or the movie was a lot better. But I didn't care for this movie. 6 out of 10. I'm sticking by it, and I'll give Amber a chance to come on here probably Saturday and give her 2 cents. But yeah, overall, just really not a fan, and I hope they let this franchise stay dead and buried for ever at this point. I think everything that could have been done has been done, and I don't trust them to go around three with it another 30 years from now. But anyway, I'm Lonnie with Untitled Nerd Network. Thanks y'all for coming into the chat, hanging out with me, and don't get pissed off because I spoiled the movie for you, because there's warnings everywhere. I think actually I may get on and do a live game stream here very, very shortly, like in the next 5 or 10 minutes. So stay on the channel and join me for that. I'm actually going to be playing old Super Nintendo games. I'm probably going to get on and play some Mario Kart, the original Super Mario Kart. See y'all then.